Lots of talk in the news this week about advanced air mobility, so we thought we'd cover this subject today and give you a bit of an update. We've talked about this before here on Biz Jet TV. You can click on the link above, which will take you to some of the videos we've done on advanced air mobility, and also click on the link below where you can read my articles I wrote for Avbuyer Magazine about this interesting emerging sector. Now, the ultimate question is, the advanced air mobility flying machines, or eVTOLs, because some of them are electric, eVTOL standing for electrical vertical takeoff and landing, are they going to replace the helicopter? Now, of course, the helicopter is a very convenient machine because it takes off and lands vertically, but it's also very, very expensive to run. Lots of moving parts, and of course, it runs on, some of them runs on avgas, some run on Jet Alpha 1, which is the same fuel that powers all the airliners. And pollution is a big issue that's being talked about a lot in the news. So what can we do to reduce a carbon footprint? So hence all these projects that are out there right now. There's over 500 of these projects that are being worked on, and some of them are extremely well funded, as you can see from this chart, with Joby Aviation right at the top there, having raised $1.9 billion, followed by Lilium, which is a project in Germany at $1 billion, Archer Aviation at $156 million, Better Technology $796 million, Volocopter $761 million, and off we go. So obviously, in order to make one of these projects happen, you do need quite a lot of money, and there's a lot of things involved in certifying one of these things. So lots of flights have been happening, test flights and that, and working towards certification. And how soon are we going to see one of these flying machines operating with passengers? Well, they're saying the first commercial service will start in 2025, which is just 2 years down the line, which is good. Norwegian Air Ambulance Foundation at the forefront of this. They're wanting to get this implemented as soon as possible because of the rugged geography over in Norway. They think they can use these machines for air ambulance flights, which will help. We've also got Bleed Air Mobility, and they're looking at developing flights out of New York, Vancouver, and also the French Riviera. And then we've got Archer, which have done a deal with United Airlines. United Airlines have ordered quite a few of these, and the idea is to fly from Manhattan to New York International. So this is just some examples of what's actually going on and what we're going to see coming to market. So we have to keep our eye on these projects, and we'll be doing a whole series of interviews with different people involved in the eVTOL and advanced air mobility space, just to know more about each specific project, which I think is interesting. It's private aviation at the end of the day. It's saving you stacks of time. I mean, if you fly your private jet, you fly into Teterboro, for example, you don't want to spend an hour and a half in traffic getting downtown Manhattan for your meeting. If you can jump in one of these advanced air mobility machines and get you there in a few minutes, do your meeting and come back, it's just going to speed things up. And then, of course, we've got all these supersonic, hypersonic aircraft being developed as well, which is going to speed up that side of flying as well. So overall, we're going to be moving a lot quicker through the air and a lot quicker from meeting to meeting. This is certainly what's going to be happening in the future, which has happened also in the last 100 plus years with the invention of the aeroplane. Now, one of the things that was talked about just recently at a conference in the United States, mainly about helicopters and that, but also other vertical takeoff vehicles, they were talking about the pilot shortage. And they were saying right now, and I've covered this before here on Biz Jet TV, the flight schools are quite busy, but they're not busy with people going through commercial pilot training. They're busy with people learning to fly because they want to go in and buy their own airplane and then operate it themselves. So that side of the market, but there are not that many young people these days that want to be commercial pilots, probably because it's costing about $150,000 to get all your licenses, and the return on investment, it does take a long time to recoup that money. I mean, if you're making $2,000 a month, you just run the maths, it's going to take you a while, without considering, the disruption in people's private lives of, flying around, being away from home a lot, jet lag if you're on long distance, long haul flights and that. So what they're saying is that this new advanced air mobility flying machines is going to attract a lot of young people into the business. United Airlines have started to sponsor pilots now with their Aviate flight training, and they said, well, what we're going to do is once our cadets graduate with all their licenses, we're going to get them to gain experience flying the Archer eVTOL up and down, clock up their hours before they can go and then fly for United Airlines. So this is kind of what they're hoping for, is that young people will flock to these different jobs, which will probably be able to pay people more money. Also, let's face it, if you're flying for one of these advanced air mobility companies in New York. You're probably going to go to work in the morning, do your 4 or 5 flights, and then go home at night. So none of these time zones, none of these night stops, very local flights. And with looking at the number of projects that are underway, we're going to see a lot of these machines flying in our skies in the future. And this is going to open up a whole new possibility for careers for people that want to be pilots, but also for the people who are going to be working on the machines as the mechanics and the engineers and that. So, and the other people around, these different terminals that they're going to be operating in the different cities. They're going to need people to work there on the ground, checking people in and all that kind of good stuff. So it's going to open up a whole new world for people that love to fly, and lots of career opportunities as well. But anyway, that's enough from me on this episode of Biz Jet TV. Click on this video above that we did about urban air mobility a while back. I'm sure you'll enjoy that, looking at this project. And also, if you haven't subscribed to Biz Jet TV, I encourage you to subscribe. Give us a super thanks on this video. And that's all from Fabrizio Party on Biz Jet TV, and I'll see you on the next one.